Hey guys, this is Jessica Gutierrez with Clean With Me podcast. This is a podcast where I walk you through cleaning your house step by step. So let's clean together. Hey everybody, how are you guys doing today? So today I'm going to do the episode where we are going to go through a overhaul of a bedroom. It could be a kid's bedroom, your bedroom, whatever bedroom in your house needs attention. It could be your garage, whatever area in your house has been neglected. Say this is for you. If you have some kind of area in your house that's been just kind of put to the side, mine would be my kids' room right now. One of my kids' rooms, no one has been sleeping in that room, and when I moved out of my other house, a lot of the stuff ended up being, because we don't have very much storage, so there's a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in there, and it's super disorganized. It's hard to find anything in there, and so I'm going to go through step by step what I did to organize the room, what I do, what my process is. Your process may be different, and that's okay, but if you are like me and you struggle with organization and maintaining, I found things that work for me, so I'm just going to share what works for me, and we're going to go and get right into it, and I will start with what I did at first, and we'll just go through it step by step. So first of all, do whatever you need to do to get ready to do this. This is something that you want to make time for, and if you do not have any time to do this all in one sitting, that's okay. You can do it in spurts. So what I mean by that is, if you are like, okay, there's no way, my room, Jessica, is so bad that there's no way I'm going to do this in one sitting, that's okay. And I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed and just not do it. So that's okay. So in that case, what you're going to do is you're going to set a timer for 15, 30, 45 minutes, whatever it is. It could be 2 hours, whatever you can personally handle or have time for. Set a timer and then do the steps that I'm going to be talking about up until your timer runs out, and then just do that every day. Ideally, or every time you get a moment extra to do that. And then eventually you'll have a completely organized room, and then I'll also talk about how to maintain that and how to organize to where you're going to keep it that way. Because sometimes we focus too much on making the room look good, and we cheat, and we kind of, towards the end, we get tired of it, and then we start stuffing stuff, and then it ends up, because we didn't put things in the proper places, it ends up getting to a point to where it's back to where it was a few months ago, when we had to go through the deep clean, and then you have to do that process all over again, and we get caught in this cycle. I know, because I have done that before. I'm not a perfect housekeeper. Things get away from me sometimes, and other things become a priority, and things fall through the cracks. So that's why I love the doing things in spurts, or dividing it over different days if it's really bad. If you feel like you can do it in one day, if it's not as bad, if you just have some minor problems with disorganization in a room, like maybe your drawers just aren't organized or something, then this episode is still for you. Just focus on that and do that, and you could probably do it all during this entire episode. But for those of you that are listening and you're dealing with a kind of disaster area room, we're just gonna not get overwhelmed, for sure. Do not get overwhelmed. We're going to do this one step at a time, and just set a timer, or you can use me for a timer. I'm going to do a 20-minute episode. So if you can only handle 20 minutes, that's fine. If you can handle more than 20 minutes, maybe you can put on another one of my podcasts to finish up, or you can just rewind and re-listen to this podcast after this episode after. Find one of the old episodes about organizing a room and glean from different episodes. But definitely break it up and it'll help you to get it done, because I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed, because the end goal is for everything to be in the right place. We don't want to cut corners or get lazy, because that's how things end up back to a disaster area a few months later. So do whatever you need to do. Get your kids occupied. If you're listening to this right now, you probably are free for some reason. If you're like a person like I used to be, where you always have your children or something, try doing this during a nap time. So once you've gotten into a place where, if you have kids, you have them occupied, they're taking a nap, whatever, what have you, or maybe you have a free time where you don't have any kids. Maybe you don't have kids and you just are off work for today, and you have a quick period of time that you have to clean, but you probably don't want to clean, but that's okay. Just think to yourself, this has to happen, and I'm just going to take 20 minutes, and I'm just going to do as much as I can in 20 minutes, and then eventually over the course of a few days, this room is going to be beautiful. It's going to be somewhere that we actually enjoy going to, because when you have a room like that, you just tend to avoid it. And especially if you have a small house, you can't afford to lose a whole room of space that your kids can be playing in and stuff. And I know with me, I had let it go for like weeks and weeks, and I'm like, I could be using this room for my kids to play, and it would make my life a lot easier when I'm cleaning if they weren't, under my feet. And, you know what I mean? So it was definitely time for me to clean the room. And somebody asked me to do a podcast on this, and I related to it. So I have a lot of good tips. Some of it's common sense, some of it maybe you haven't heard before. I hope that this will be a help to you. I hope that it'll motivate you to tackle an area in your house that maybe has been forgotten, or just you've gotten used to it being there maybe, or maybe it's just like an organized mess, and you've gotten used to digging through your cabinets or your dressers looking for your clothes in the morning, and you don't realize, because you're so used to it, like, this is wasting time every morning. I can't find my kids' clothes because of this room. So, sometimes we just get used to those things. But, so, once you realize, like, hey, my life would be a lot easier if this room was organized and stayed organized, and I'm just making my life harder, then once you get in that mindset, hopefully it motivates you and you're ready to go and you're ready to clean, and let's just get right into it, because I tend to babble and go on and on. So let's go. So what I like to do first of all, if you have any trash in the room, if there's any trash, just blatant trash, especially if it's like a kid's room or your room, or I don't know, whatever, garage. If there's anything that's 100% trash, like no questions about it, try to just get that immediately. Go around, get any cups, bowls, anything like that are in the room, any trash, and just go throw that away and put those in the kitchen. And then clear the floor as best as you can. And then just try to clear your floor, like if there's toys or anything like that on the floor. Just try to clear an area on the floor. If you need to put things on the bed, that's fine. But just clear your floor the best you can before the organizational part. And then maybe if it's carpet, just do a quick vacuum. or a sweep. And the reason why I say this is because we're going to be going through drawers and stuff, and we're going to be putting all the clean clothes like from the drawers while we're organizing onto the floor. So we want to make sure the floor is clean. So just clear the floor first, and this is how I do it. And then I clean the floor, do a good sweep, mop if it needs it, and vacuum. And that way, when you're taking things out of the drawer and doing the organizing and putting things in piles, you're not going to run across any problems like getting your clean clothes dirty or anything like that. So once I've done that, the next thing I do is I personally start with my drawers. And if my drawers are super disorganized, and I take clothes from the closet and the drawers, but I do one at a time. I do like 2 drawers at a time. I take everything out from inside the drawers, and I divide the clothes that are in the drawers into keep, maybe, or donate piles. And I sort through about 2 drawers at a time, so it's not overwhelming. Some people just throw all of their clothes in a pile all at once, and then do the pile thing. But I like to do just two drawers at a time. That way, because when I see a big pile, it overwhelms me. So personally, I like to just do 2 drawers at a time, or one section of the clothes hanging up at a time. And that's what helps me. And then I put them in piles, like I said, of keep, maybe, and donate. And throw away piles on the floor. So with clothes, you just go a couple drawers at a time until all of your drawers are, in piles. All the clothes that are in your drawers are in piles, sorted piles. And then the keeping stuff you fold in an organized manner, like meaning shirts, shirts in one pile, pants in one pile, underwear and socks in another pile. And this part is crucial, because if you just get all your keeping stuff and you're like, oh wow, I purged all of these clothes, so I'm tired now, I'm just going to shove all this stuff back into the drawers. Because, we're all tempted to do that sometimes after we've been just sorting through clothes for hours and hours. But like I said, that's why if you're like that, just break it up into spurts of like 20 minutes or so. But this is the crucial part for maintaining. You want to make sure that when you're putting stuff away, you're putting it away in a very organized manner. So, shirts in one, pants in one. And when you're putting things back in the drawer, make sure there are things that you are for sure keeping, that they actually wear. If you're on the fence about something, put it in the maybe pile and keep the maybe pile in a box, put it away and come back to it a couple days later, and then put it in a keep or a throw away or a donate pile. Because I know sometimes it's hard because we don't want to throw away things that we think are going to be useful, but if you have trouble throwing things away, that's a great way to definitely have a maybe pile and then just come back to that. But same thing applies to toys. Let's say you have an overrun of toys, same thing. You just take a small section of toys out, put it in, same thing, donate if it's in a good condition, if it's torn up, trash, and then a keep pile. And just purge those toys and have plastic big trash bags ready. And the stuff that's getting donated, I would have a Sharpie handy and just put donate on the bag and put that stuff in the bag. This applies to toys, clothing, whatever it may be. And with anything, the hardest part for organizing a room that has gotten out of control or is disorganized is always the starting part. So the hardest part is starting. So all you have to do is just get in there, set a timer, and that's kind of like, a motivator, a push, a goal. Write a goal for yourself. I'm going to get this dresser done today. I'm going to get this whole room done today if it's not that bad. I'm going to get all of the toys and this dresser done today or whatever. Just write goals for yourself. Figure out what you are capable of to do and then do it. And if you have a small room, utilize the space that you have under the bed. If you don't have a lot of space under your bed, try raising your bed so you can put stuff under your bed, because under your bed is a great storage area. I know in my kids' room, I try not to keep junk under their beds, of course, but if you have bins underneath your kids' beds, like I do, I had bins under my kids' beds of like out of season clothes. But sometimes before winter starts, I had to go through those bins because some of those things don't even fit them anymore, so they need to be donated. So you need to go through those things too. So if you have, obviously not all of you have the same situation as me, but I'm just throwing out there the things that I had to deal with, and if you relate, then great. But whatever it is that you have an issue with. But definitely use the under the bed. I have these great plastic storage bins from Walmart that I use for out of season clothes, and I just shove them under the bed. Nice and organized, of course. I try to keep it organized the best I can. But they were a little bit unorganized and had random miscellaneous things that the kids had thrown in, and definitely had some stuff that was too small for the kids, so I had to purge that and do the same thing. The pile method never lets me down. Throw away, donate. You're going to hear that a lot from me. Throw away, donate, keep, trash. Those are the piles that you have to make. That's pretty much my method of organization, is to put things in those piles, decide what you want to keep, and what you want to keep, make sure you put away in a way that's going to be a system that works for you. Like, if you are putting all of your keep items in, like, say you don't have a lot of drawers, and you're putting a lot of the keeping clothes, the clothes that you're keeping in drawers, and you see that they're still kind of overflowing, like everything you're keeping is kind of a lot, and so maybe you need to hang up more things, because the goal here is to have things organized but also maintainable. So if you have drawers that are filled to the brim with clothes, you're going to be digging through those clothes when you're trying to get your kids ready in the morning or something like that. So you want to make sure that they're not overstuffed, and maybe, decide that all sweaters, jackets, dresses, etc. will be hung up. And if you still don't have enough space in your drawers after that, then decide to put your pants, the kids' pants, whatever room we're cleaning right now. I'm just saying kid room because that's the room I cleaned. And then hang those up. That way things are easy to get to. You want easy accessibility, stuff that's easy to find. You don't want to lose, the goal of being organized is that everything is displayed in a way that's easy to see, easy to get to, and easy to find, because everyone has that moment after they organize something where they didn't realize they had half the stuff they had, and then you end up buying unnecessary clothes for your kids when they had a whole wardrobe you just didn't know because it was underneath the bed, and you hadn't gone through the underneath the bed stuff, that was put away for a different season, and you never took it out and looked through it or had gone through it. So it's important to do this regularly, just to take note of what you actually have and what you actually need. And I know I'm kind of all over the place with this, but I just, this is just how I do it. And, like, if you're having trouble, like, getting rid of stuff because of they're sentimental to you, or you have like an attachment to them, just think like, what is the it's okay to keep a teddy bear or like something from a kid's childhood. There's nothing wrong with having a couple keepsakes, but you do not ever need a giant bin full of keepsakes that you keep stored away that is never seen. There are rare cases. I'm not judging you if you do have something like that and you have the storage capability for that. That's fine. Some of us, people have passed or whatever, and you want to hold on to their things. That's a whole different story. But I'm just talking about, like, with me, with my baby things. I wanted to hoard every little newborn outfit that they ever owned. And I had, like, 3 bins of baby clothes. And it took a lot out of me. This was a while back, of course. But it took a lot out of me to realize, like, hey, you do not need all these clothes. You need to go through them. Give them to someone in need. Someone having a baby, just give them those clothes. You have tons of pictures, and I was able over the course of like 4 days to wean down just a few mementos from when they were a newborn, physical items like hats, their new first hats, their newborn shoes, their first outfits, and I have a little tiny box that I have now with their like baby mementos, because we have pictures these days and photo albums and stuff to remember all that. We don't need to be keeping every single thing our kids ever played with, and sometimes it's hard. It's really hard sometimes, but it feels good after everything's organized and let go. And then, like, before I go, like, say you have a closet that's just like overflowing, and you don't know where to start. Just same thing, just bring out small piles at a time, go through them, put them in piles, deal with the piles, and then once you've dealt with the piles, bring out some more. And then if you don't have time to finish that day and you're like, okay, I'm done in here for the day, then just put in your schedule, I'm going to spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever time you have on this room tomorrow, and I'm going to start with the closet where I left off, and etc., etc., etc. And eventually you'll have a very decluttered, very nicely organized, decorated room, because that's the last step. After everything is said and done and everything is organized and in its place, and you can easily access shirts, pants, sweaters, dresses, you have your out of season clothes put away, maybe you have a place for toys that you just it just looks like crazy or something. I suggest having like a covered bin that you put, or like a pretty chest you could put like at the end of their bed to put their toys in. That way, because the things that make your house look the most organized is if it's out of sight, out of mind. So I love pieces of furniture that open. I've said that 1,000 times on previous podcasts, but that's my favorite thing. I like to go to Goodwill and look for stuff like that because I love ottomans that open, those long, I don't know what they call them, the seats that you put like by the window that open. Any furniture, tables that open, any furniture that opens into storage, I love it because I have a small house. So, but yeah, like I said, after you're done with all the organization and you just break it down a little bit at a time, don't overwhelm yourself at all. You guys are amazing for even starting it. Just start it and just make sure you finish. Make sure you have a schedule of how much time you're going to spend a day realistically, and stick to that until it is finished. And you'll feel so much better when it's finished. And also, it'll give you a chance to, like, once it's nice and pretty and not as much of a, storage area, you can decorate it. how you want, and you can take pride in the room, and it'll be a place that your kids and you actually want to hang out in. And if you have kids, if not, if it's your room that you're overhauling, it'll be a place that you actually feel comfortable in and you want to be in, as opposed to a place that has been avoided and just always shut because no one wants to go into the dirty room, kind of a thing. It'll just make you feel better. And then one more thing before I go, as you do your laundry, think about how much time and effort you put into reorganizing your clothes when you're folding your laundry, and make sure, even when on your lazy days, you are putting things away in the correct places, in the correct drawers, because it gets out of hand really quickly. It takes a long time to clean up, but it only takes 5 minutes for your drawers to become cluttered and inaccessible and hard to find stuff in really quickly. So make sure when you're folding your laundry and putting laundry away, you hang things up when you're supposed to hang things up. You put things in the proper drawers in the proper way, and that way you can maintain that and keep that room nice, and you don't have to do this over and over again as a cycle. And I'm just going to go ahead and mention my wonderful supporters on Patreon. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sticking with me during my transitional period. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate it. If you would like to support the podcast financially, I'll put the link in the description. And I really thank you guys so much for listening. I hope it helped you in some way. I know I'm kind of scatterbrained when it comes to organizing a room. I'm like all over the place, but that's my method of doing it. If you have a different method, that's fine. I hope you gleaned something from this episode, though, and I hope that the person that did contact me got something from the episode and they were able to organize their bedroom or their kid's bedroom. And I just hope you guys are able to organize whatever it may be with these tips. It could be, your kitchen cabinet, like always. I mean, organization is pretty much simple and the same thing no matter what area of your house you're doing it in. It could be your laundry room, your living room, your inside your coffee table, inside your drawers, inside your bathroom drawers, etc., etc., etc. Organization is all really the same. It's pretty basic, but it's just doing it. And anyway, I just want to thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast, and I hope you gleaned something from it, and I hope you learned something from it. And as always, happy cleaning.